Hello, everyone. We have an update on the SafeMoon bankruptcy hearing. This is back from January 16th of 2024. Shout out to Live for Afford for sharing this audio clip from that hearing on Twitter or X. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. It's a little bit over 9 minutes. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started.
The court resumes its session.
Good afternoon. We've got one matter in the SafeMoon US LLC Chapter 7 case. Could I get appearances, please, starting with Debtors Counsel?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mark Rose appearing on behalf of the debtors, SafeMoon US LLC.
Thank you. And for the trustee?
Good morning, good afternoon, Your Honor. Jeff Goodman on behalf of the trustee, Alan Ostro. The trustee is obviously in attendance as well.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
It doesn't look like anyone else is making an appearance. This is your motion for turnover. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm Jeff Goodman on behalf of the trustee. We're here on behalf of docket number 34, a motion for turnover of funds of the debtors, property of the estate held held in accounts in the names of the debtors' affiliates, but at FV Bank and at Citibank. There are two separate affiliated entities that, as reflected in our motion, that had accounts there. One of them was Ronin Crypto Group LC, and those are the funds that's the entity, that's the parent that has the funds at FV Bank. We've been in substantial communications with counsel for FV Bank. As Your Honor, we will get to in a moment the issue. We even had a pre-petition before we got involved, a corporate resolution to allow this to be turned over, but FB Bank, I think, wants some comfort in order to accomplish that, which is part of the motion. Separately, the debtors, I would say more of a sister company versus the parent, which is Ronin Real Estate Holdings LC, has at least had accounts at Citibank, and the Citibank has been in touch with the trustee, and the trustees reached out, and there was some issue that maybe the accounts themselves are closed, but there are checks held for the benefit of the debtors' funds that are held at that account. We haven't been able to get full clarity, and we do have what's on the schedules, because given that they're not in the name of the debtor, the banks are concerned, and presumably they've got, I'm not a bank regulatory expert, but they're concerned about know your customer, who they're talking to, an authority and the like. But all these funds, the debtor is the entity in the corporate family that generated income. There's very, very small amounts generated by Ronin Real Estate. Even that was because of amounts that the debtor would send over to Ronin Real Estate. The debtor was the engine of this, what was supposed to be at some point some kind of empire, which never really came to fruition. So these are the debtors' monies that would be transferred over to these accounts. This is money in that, as we mentioned in the motion, I think was also referenced in the 721 motion, the debtor's fiat cash, i.e. US dollars, is very limited. As of the petition date, it was zero. If it wasn't zero, it was an incredibly small amount. Ms. Ostro can correct me. We then obtained Your Honor's authority to sell certain liquid crypto assets, particularly the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we entered into the Ethereum sale, which should generate north of $400,000. But this is a significant asset, both for the administration of the estate, but also, obviously, if we get our hands on $4 million, we're talking about distributions to creditors, too. We're not just talking about funding the expenses. That's the first part, but the second part is actual distributions. This is in our view, this is the debtor's money. We've supported it with the declaration, I'm not going to, of one of the debtor's employees. That gentleman is available and is stand by. There's concerns for his personal well-being, and that's why we redacted his name. He is available, and Ms. Ostro can ask him to join if Your Honor would like him to be on the present. But we would request that and I'm always a little weird when I'm talking about the virtual courtroom versus standing in front of Your Honor, but we would ask if Your Honor would like to hear from our declarant to seal the courtroom to allow that to take place. We certainly have no problem with Mr. Rose being on here, but he knows this person. But in terms of the general public. So with that, these are the debtor's funds. They were transferred to the affiliates. With respect to the funds at FB Bank, they're ready to turn them over. They just need some comfort. We believe that the substantive basis, whether it's the FB Bank funds or the funds that are over Citibank, are the same. And we would request an order under 542 of the Bankruptcy Code, subject to any questions or diligence Your Honor has.
So the total amount is about $4 million. How does that break up between FB Bank and Citi?
Yes, so the FV Bank is 1.334 million and change. And we're, unless something incredibly odd has happened, we're very comfortable with that number, that number is sitting there in FV Bank, at least it was as of last week. And Ms. Ostrom may even have more recent information, but we have no reason to believe there's any. Citibank is based on our information and belief, based on what we understand, what the debtor understood pre-petition. We understand, but as I mentioned earlier, we don't have, Citibank won't confirm things directly on that. We understand the accounts are closed, there may be funds held at, let's call it account adjacent at that bank, but that is our understanding of the number, but we cannot verify it. We don't have a direct line. We don't have a lawyer like we do with respect to FB Bank.
All right. Exhibit B attached to the motion is a declaration of someone who worked or still works for the debtor.
Yes.
Which provides an evidentiary basis for the motion. And I'll ask for the record if there's anyone who objects to me receiving this declaration as evidence in support of the motion. No objections. I'll receive the declaration. Does anyone present wish to cross-examine the declarant? No one wishes to cross-examine the person who made the statements, so I'll receive that. Anything else you wish to offer?
Subject to my client saying she'd like to add something, since we're not standing in the room together, I do not. Ms. Ostro, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Only that we did provide the unredacted version to the U.S. trustee, Your Honor, and understand that there's been no objection from the U.S. trustee.
All right. There has been proper notice, although this is an expedited hearing. It looks like notice went to the parent and the affiliate at best known address. There's been no response from them. The Securities and Exchange Commission, one of their attorneys, entered another notice of appearance this morning, but they're not here to complain about anything. So in the absence of objection and notice is proper under the circumstances, I'll grant the motion. Ms. Ostro did upload an order about an hour ago granting the motion. I've had a chance to review that. Don't have any comments. Mr. Rose, have you had a chance to look at that?
I have not, but I will take a look at it.
Well, let me tell you what it says. It says the motion is granted. Ronin Crypto and Ronin Real Estate shall turn over to the trustee the funds held in the accounts or otherwise held or maintained by FV Bank. I'm certainly familiar with Citibank, Mr. Goodman. What is FV Bank? I've never heard of that one.
Your Honor, I'm not as familiar with it either. They have DLA Piper representing them, so they must be a larger bank than I might have imagined. I don't know if Ms. Ostro has a history. We haven't discussed it. I wasn't familiar with them before this matter.
All right.
Not to be rude to them. I'm sure they're a fine bank.
Again, or otherwise held or maintained at FV Bank or Citibank for the benefit of Ronin Real Estate and or Ronin Crypto, paragraph 3. FV Bank and Citibank are authorized to comply with the trustee's direction to transfer the funds held in the accounts or otherwise held or maintained at FV Bank or Citibank for the benefit of Ronin Real Estate and or Ronin Crypto into a new account controlled by the trustee. Any objection to those terms, Mr. Rose?
No, I don't think the debtor has any comment on these.
Then I'll grant the motion again, and I'll sign that order when I go back to chambers. Anything else, Mr. Goodman or Ms. Ostro?
Not for me, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time. The court's in recess.